Hello and welcome to
Hello.
another Shogun 2 online commentary with me, James,
I,
and...
my name is Peter.
Alright, so last time we thought it was a bit rushed, so this time we're going to explain our tactics, usually, of what we do before we start the play button. So usually what I do is I bring a spear line of ashigaru with lots of sword troops behind them, and generally try and bait the enemy into my spear line so I can get a good counter charge going off. And I don't bring the most cavalry so I can spend it on my melee troops, and also I always keep some Naginata attendants behind my general to keep them protected, and I'll pass on to Peter now.
Yeah, what I usually do is, well, my tactics usually vary really. I always bring spear troops to protect against cav, and I always bring it's my army is mainly melee based, unlike James's, who pretty much always brings cavalry.
Yeah.
I'm usually anti-cavalry with my marathon monks and my warrior nuns and my samurais and whatnot. So it's usually James who has to aid us on the cavalry front for chasing down straggling units and such like that.
I'm just looking at Peter's troops, and his marathon monks look pretty good. The unit here of 8 chevrons.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
impressive. So, yep, so I think we're going to start the battle. I think you've got the gist of our armies now, so I don't really think we need to explain that too much. We'll take a look at the opponent. Now this is on the map Lowlands, and we have a archery dojo on the enemy side, a melee dojo near us, and a defense dojo. So we were fortunate in the fact that we had the dojos in a better position to us, really, sort of, a little bit of advantage. And,
Yeah.
we'll call this guy blue, and the other guy and this guy here purple. So blue's got some nice Yari cavalry. He's got bow ashigaru, Yari samurai with some rather offensive namings going on here. And his general is a bow general. On the right hand side we have Naginata attendants, some sort of sacrifice troops, and more Yari cavalry. This guy's got a decent amount of cavalry. Bow samurai, lots of swords, a couple of bows and some spear. So this is pretty standard. Now we're beginning to see the first manoeuvres of this game unfold. Peter's brought his men round to take over this shrine over here.
Yep.
And as you can see here, they're forming up together, so we're going to do the same thing.
Yeah. It's always good if you see your opponent forming up together. It's pretty much always guaranteed that you'll have to do it unless you wish to forfeit the match, because one person can't take two teams.
Here you can see my match warrior monks taking up a pretty decent position on this high ground, and this fight is escalating rapidly. Hopefully, I've just put my guys to this field just at the right time. These Naginata samurai charge is going to be absolutely negated by these Yari ashigaru, and then I'll run my sword troops and hopefully cause some massive damage here. So this fight escalated pretty rapidly because there was a big need to get the sword dojo because the person has the best advantage. And as you can see, his cavalry is forming up big time on the left flank, so I've got mine in reserve here. And Peter's coming along to help out, and he's going straight head on into this right-hand side flank.
Yeah, I decided, because James has been quickly engaged in combat, I can waste much time in, pussyfooting, doing a bit of micromanaging with my troops. I needed to get in that fight to help James as quickly as possible, so a head-on charge was the best bet for that.
Yeah, so I just saw these troops absolutely massacre these guys and got they're just ripping through his units there. So that Katama Samurai has been destroyed, and this big mass of ball of troops should hopefully break through soon and begin to start winning. Over here there's a big cavalry fight, but I'm going to have to pull out soon because he's got his spear troops in there. But this means that his spear troops are not on this front, on my front, where I've still got my matched warrior monks causing some nice damage and a big, nice, massive melee troops. And my general is in standard fight, and he's about to get killed because he's being sniped by these mounted gunners, unfortunately. Now that is a very effective tactic. If you use mounted gunners or you get your matched troops onto hill to shoot the enemy general, that's a very good tactic. And my one is just about hanging on here.
Yeah, we have the melee defense dojo, so we do have a sort of advantage of holding out against this enemy. meaning that our defense is greater than theirs, and therefore their attack is debatably weaker. And I kept my Yari Naginata attendants and my Yari Samurai at that melee defense dojo, so that any attempt to take it for the enemy couldn't occur, because I outnumbered him. He only had 2 units of Naginata attendants.
Yeah. This does mean though that Peter's using 1 Yari Samurai and 1 Naginata attendants compared to 2 Naginata attendants, but it does ward him off from taking that dojo. Now it looks like my general has been finally... he's been killed, just as that Japanese guy has just told me, but it doesn't seem like it's been much of a problem. I've just noticed that his bow ashigaru seems to be doing very well. 62 kills in this one, 74 in the other one. That is a good use of money there, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree. And on my side, it doesn't seem to be going too well. He's put his general in stand and fight, and my men are just starting to push through to get him. But this means that his morale is a lot greater, and and his men are going to stay there for a lot longer than I wanted.
Yeah, so when you put the general in stand and fight, it gives you an absolutely massive advantage. If you can, again, you want to use matchlock units preferably, but try and get cavalry in there to stop his general from being in stand and fight, because that usually costs you the fight if you don't have it and they do, and you don't stop it.
Yeah. What I've done is brought in my secret weapon, my katana heroes, which I've been kept hidden from the enemy, and they're now trying to slice through those Yari Samurai.
Yeah, they've got 30 people left, and they've got 80 kills. That is very impressive. Well, I suppose you expect that for how much they cost, but
yeah, they cost a lot, but their melee attack pays off.
Now, this battle did look somewhat even, and I have suffered massive casualties. My katana samurai was just about holding on the left, but it does look like that we are going to win this fight. And Peter has decided to catch these Naginata attendants off guard on the right-hand side and just absolutely smush them. And I'm watching some guys get their hearts stand out right now.
Yeah.
And back on the left, he's making a last stand with his troops, but I should be able to wipe out the rest of his troops soon. Or maybe not, it looks like nearly on my... Oh no, okay, I've got some guys on your front. That's one thing
To be honest, this battle from the start was more based on melee attack and defense more than tactics, really, because after James got engaged straight away, my men just piled through a narrow bottleneck between the dojo and the forest, straight at his men, and I think I had superior attack compared to his troops, and as well as experience, which allowed me to finally break through and rip him to shreds, basically.
Usually we want to play this more tactically, but we didn't have a chance, because if we stood back and let them get the dojo, that was only going to spell the end of our chances of winning, so we just had to get right stuck in there, and Peter had to do that rather messy charge, because otherwise I would have been absolutely outnumbered, so it was the right decision in the end, I think. So Lou doesn't really seem to be doing much. He's just sort of camping out, not really helping out his friend at the moment, which isn't such a good idea.
No.
I suppose he has got a good positional advantage over here on the left with his Yari Samurai, so that can help him.
Yeah.
Even though my army is greatly depleted and only got a couple of platoons left, Peter's army is still very much in there, and just finishing off his katana hero, which has been doing astoundingly well for some reason.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's quit. Yeah.
That's the end.
Any final thoughts on the game, Pete?
Well, not a most tactically played game. That's for sure. It was more of a brute force, who can hold out the longest.
Yeah.
And with generals with stand and fight on, that was a bit of a a wobbly factor that could have gone either way. With morale.
The game definitely would have been more clean cut in my favour if my German hands have died, and also
yeah.
I think I did very well at the beginning with my spear war negating the charge of his mostly of the samurai troops and getting my own counter charge off. That is my favourite tactic.
Definitely.
I basically do that every game unless I bring ninjas, which I'm sure you'll see.
Yeah,
soon.
spear. Yeah.